BRAC's shadow in the 80s and 90s taught us this: keeping the military takes more than save the base rallies. It takes everyday partnership, base and community working as one. In the decades since, communities have become mission partners in ways once unimaginable. This is a story of how military-community partnerships transformed America's defense communities and how they will shape the future. Welcome to Homefront, stories from America's defense communities. So stretching all the way. Wow. I'm Tim. I've been with the Association of Defense Communities for 25 years. Growing up in a BRAC community in Pennsylvania inspired my passion for helping communities navigate change.
And I'm Matt. I'm an Army veteran and Montana native. I've been with ADC for more than 12 years. I lead our programs and advocacy efforts in D.C., making sure defense communities have a strong voice in our nation's capital.
Partnership has always been in the DNA of defense communities, often centered on public support for troops. That remains important, but a more consequential chapter has emerged: base community partnerships that are mission essential. In many ways, that story starts in Monterey, California, where decades of grappling with base closures sparked a new way of thinking and collaborating. Led by then City Manager Fred Muir, that work helped rewrite the defense community playbook.
Since 1988, how do we as a community respond to this continuous need to reduce the costs of the military? Over time, I realized that it's about money, but it's also about mission capability, and how do we as a community enhance the mission capability? A base is a city. I knew how to operate a base. I knew how to operate a city. So we made an unsolicited proposal to the Army that we would take over the Presidio of Monterey. We will demonstrate in Monterey County, California, whether it makes sense to allow commanders to purchase municipal, utility, and public safety services from local municipalities.
By 2000, that experiment became a national model.
We were doing $20 million a year of reimbursable work for the Army, and they were saving, by their books, 22%.
With the support of ADC and advocates in Washington, D.C., the Monterey model began to spread.
In order to get the city of Monterey to even propose a test model, whether they could provide these services cheaper than the Army, I had to pass legislation to make an exception to the rule.
We had put something in motion that you could duplicate at other bases, and it would reduce the cost for the military and strengthen that bond between community and military base. And ADC was very helpful in us building those coalitions, the legislative coalitions that we needed among the other members of Congress to get buy-in.
It wasn't just about budgets and bases. It was about families, neighbors, and people.
The community element to all of that is the most important factor, that DoD recognizes the community as a partner now.
Right. With the new Intergovernmental Support Agreement, or IGSA, authority in place, the real work began. Ivan and Taryn were on the front lines of DoD's push to turn the idea into practice.
When I first read it, it was a shock. Oh my gosh, we're really going to start leaning into communities. When I grew up, the bases were red. They had a red fence around them and no one was allowed on. And I always wanted to make it more green. Well, this legislation made it more green and allows the community to work with the installations, which was unheard of.
I literally walked the E-ring with this briefing slide I had done to go to all of the senior leaders just to convince them, because there were urban rumors out there that people were going to lose their jobs. Right. It was not going to work.
Early wins came in, small pilots, big proof of the program's value.
Altus Air Force Base was our first IGSA with trash services, and we got it accomplished, and it saved the Air Force $200,000 a year. We were able to take that example and move that around more to the Pentagon, and most importantly to the contracting offices. We showed them, hey, this is your new toolbox and toolkit. Use this, it can save money.
With proof in hand, Taryn and Ivan begin to find ways to expand the authority's reach.
We knew of a couple communities and we knew a couple commanders who were innovative, creative, and willing to go outside the box with this new legislation.
Right.
And the commander went right to contracting and we worked it out.
Right.
As successes stacked up, leaders are finding new ways to innovate.
We've picked the low-hanging fruit.
Right.
And now we're going back to the tree and figuring out, okay, what's that second, third, fourth generation service that we can reach out and touch? I think within the next 5 years, we can easily 10 times the savings that we're doing now.
Those savings directly boost readiness, keeping essential services running and resources flowing to the mission.
It increases lethality because we take that money that we save and we reinvest into somewhere else within the enterprise that we need to help support the warfighter.
A decade into IGSAs, we wanted to see their impact. First stop, the Pikes Peak region of Colorado, home to multiple installations and communities, including Fort Carson and its nearby neighbor, the city of Fountain.
We've always, in Fountain, wanted to make service members that come here and that have the military installations feel like this is their home. The opportunity to do these types of partnerships and really contribute and show them that we're here to support them, that they are part of our home, and that if they need to deploy or do anything to defend our great nation, they can rely on us back here.
Fort Carson needed help taking care of small repairs across the base, a familiar role for cities.
Because of the weather here, they had some pretty extensive water damage to some pipes that froze in one of their barracks. And in fact, those soldiers were deployed, serving our nation overseas. And they were able to call us, and we were able to quickly get in there and repair that barracks and get it back up to standard so that when those soldiers redeployed, they had somewhere to come home to.
The region's flagship collaboration, led by Colorado Springs Utilities, extends into mission-critical infrastructure itself, safeguarding the electric power the post depends on.
We are very fortunate here to be co-located with a city that has a municipal utility. And what's unique, I think, across the Army portfolio is it really provides all the commodities, so natural gas, electricity, water, and wastewater. So that was very attractive to us as we looked at ways to gain efficiencies and take advantage of innovation.
And we're bringing what our expertise are day in, day out to our military partners is huge, because it allows our military to focus on what their mission is, and they don't have to worry about having reliable utilities on their installation. Their deployment is dependent on us. Their warfighting technology is dependent on us.
The IGSA model has been vital to growing collaboration, but the partnership story is bigger. Many other tools bring public and private resources together for the good of both base and community. One of those best examples is in Grand Forks, North Dakota, where a unique real estate project called Grand Sky is redefining what's possible.
It was pretty scary. I could even say, 20 years ago and then even 5 years ago, it was really touch and go. There was some worry, and you're trying to figure out how do you make Grand Forks and the Air Force Base be something that is so crucial to the Air Force, they can never think about getting rid of it again through a BRAC process.
It's actually an enhanced use lease from Grand Forks County. Right. A 50-year lease, a commitment from the federal government that we created this lease, that the community around us said, you know what? We're gonna take this thing called UAS technology and we're gonna go step it up.
10 years later, Grand Sky has become the first and only commercial unmanned aerial systems research and development park in the United States that is fully operational.
Tim, we're out here on the heart of Grand Sky. This is the former alert ramp from when these were B-52s. As part of the enhanced use lease, we rebuilt that connection, and so we're now able to refurbish this and turn this back into an aircraft operating area. But this is the heart of it. This is where our tenants, General Atomics and Northrop Grumman, operate from.
Grand Sky's impact can be felt both in the base and in the community.
I mean, the investment ROI is pretty incredible. And moreover than that, it's the good, meaningful jobs for people that can come here, earn a really good living, be in a safe, fulfilling community, but then being on the cutting edge of the Department of Defense, national security, things that aren't just here in our backyard, but globally.
It's an interesting custom As an outsider looking into what the Grand Sky program, the Enhanced Use Lease, has become, I'll say it's really the goodness of the academia and industry and the military coming together at the table. We don't meet every day. It's that conversation. It's that, wow, what are you doing over there? That is very interesting.
The partnership is constant communication. What do you need and what do we need, and how do we really support each other to make that happen?
That ongoing conversation between base and community about what's needed and what's possible through collaboration at Grand Forks and in communities across the country is building momentum. It's pushing both communities and the military to think bigger, and it couldn't come at a more important time.
Protecting our national defense in the 21st century is absolutely going to require the kind of partnership that you represent. Because it isn't just about buying weapons. It's not just about buying fighter planes. It's not just about buying tanks. It is developing the technological side of our defense capability that absolutely requires that partnership between the military and local communities.
Absolutely.
Think big. Think bigger. Think MilCon. Think where you can really affect the base. Talk to your installation commander and say, what's keeping you up at night? And how can we help? And don't think about just the little services anymore, but now think big.
We got to be more than creative. We got to be damn right stubborn to secure our homeland, to secure our communities, and obviously make sure that our military forces can project power where they have to go.
2 decades of work laid the foundation for what's next, and this chapter may matter the most. With the Homefront now central to our national security, partnerships are indispensable. So the question is, how big can we think, and how do we get there?